Good morning. Welcome to the World Cup show jumping event finals for dressage and show jumping here in Las Vegas, Nevada in 2009. We're really excited to have you join us here at equestriancoach.com. My name is Dr. Richard Markell. I'm going to take you through the arrival of the horses and how we get mechanically all these horses from all over the world here into Las Vegas. The horses came last Saturday morning early on the European flight. They were actually FedExed, and there's very few flights anymore that come direct. Once we received the horses over at the McCarran Airport, which is literally across the street, we had 3 horse vans, offloaded the horses with the USDA, and brought the horses here. It was just fantastic. All the horses had traveled without any problem, and since it's a charter flight, it went directly from Amsterdam here into Las Vegas, which is really unusual. What's so unique about this, because we ship horses all over the world all the time, is that the Las Vegas event here has been set up as a USDA quarantine facility. So the horses are actually participating in quarantine here at the show. They're under quarantine for the whole time, and they leave under quarantine because this is a temporary quarantine facility. And we're going to take you in the international barns later and show you how it's set up, but it's really quite unique because the horses have to stay inside in a totally mosquito-free and vector-free area. There is air conditioning that's put in the tent so that the horses and the riders and the grooms are comfortable, and they're actually in the tent for about 42 hours while the blood is transported and tested. Okay, here we are at the American barn, and there are a few European horses here. Rodrigo's horses are here, but he had already pre-arrived to Florida, so he didn't have to do the quarantine. The horses from the U.S. came in from California and from the airplane flight from back east on Monday. They had the advantage of having a couple extra days of rest and relaxation, but they also had the disadvantage of not having that extra time here at Las Vegas. We're going to take you in the international barn now and show you the horses, have a little bit of a walk around. Their flight was pretty easy. It was a 5-hour flight direct from the East Coast, and it landed in a little bit different type of airplane. The boxes were open and they weren't completely shut. Everybody traveled really, really well, and they were comfortable. Most of these horses have a bigger passport and more frequent flyer miles than all of us. These horses have traveled all over the world many times, and they're really comfortable going different places, eating different food, and they seem to acclimate, and they don't have the jet lag that we do. You know, I'm often asked if it's stressful to be taking care of some of these top athletes in the world, and it's really not. The horses are fabulous athletes. They're in top health, so if there are any illnesses, they certainly have a better chance of recovering. It's always difficult with the sports injuries to have to give some bad news that perhaps a horse that traveled all the way from Europe and has been in training for years and years to finally make an accomplishment of reaching a World Cup finals, to let that rider and that owner and the groom as well know that that horse can't compete, and that's always a challenge and difficult. Fortunately though, there's very few of those instances that happen, and the horses do just fantastic. This national barn has been set up as a big party tent, and the footing, as you can see, is from leftover remnants from all the conventions here in Las Vegas. So this is all put down on a parking lot, and on the parking lot they put down the carpet, and the horses love it. The carpet does get a little bit messy, and you do need a big vacuum cleaner, and I'm not sure it's a great long-term solution, but it's certainly a way to keep everybody safe and comfortable since this whole facility has been put up on a parking lot. All of the footing in the arenas has been brought in from Europe and stored every year. When they have the World Cup, they reassemble the entire facility and the footing. It's just fantastic. Well, this is Ian's horse, and as a treating veterinarian for the World Cup, primary responsibility is to help veterinarians that are coming in from all over the world. We treat all the emergencies. I take care of most of the European horses, but we want to make sure that all the horses have great care and are doing well and have what they need to be comfortable and healthy during the competition. And it's really interesting. You get to see a lot of the grooms when the European plane opens up, and we see the grooms. There are many grooms that have come year after year with Shutterfly's grooms and many of the Europeans that we know so well, and it's really it's a fun reunion, as well as the U.S. horses too when they come in. So this guy doesn't look like a world-class show jumper. He looks more like a little backyard pony, but he's a friendly guy. We're here at the International Barn, and you can see as the temporary setup, the horses will come and go, as well as the riders and the grooms, in and out of a quarantine area. And in the first part of the quarantine, the horses will be in total quarantine, the grooms and riders in protective suits and foot covers. Here's a wash area that's temporarily set up, and you can see the sides of the barn go up and down with air conditioning units to keep the barn totally enclosed. So there's absolutely no possibility of transmission of disease during that time. As we walk through the barns, we can see there's total enclosure. Now the sides can be opened up so that the horses can get some nice fresh air, and we don't have the air conditioning units anymore. Everybody's in a pretty good mood. We're just getting ready for the second jog inspection, and so it's pretty low stress for everybody at this point. How many times have you been to the World Cup? A few? And how many times with Shutterfly? Are you having fun here at World Cup? Yeah. We keep saying that the riders are the reason the horses do so well, and the horses themselves, the veterinarians think it's the veterinarians that do so well, but we all know it's probably the grooms that take such loving care of these horses. Shutterfly's getting a little TLC and love and attention, and we all just wish that we were taken care of so well. There's total supervision in the barns with the FEI stewards walking around throughout 24 hours a day to ensure that the competition is well regulated. We're now having to leave and go down for the International Veterinary Inspection. This would be the second inspection jog to make sure that the horses are safe and competing comfortably and doing well.